Word of warning, folks. This video is a long-winded rant. If you're not interested in matters of free speech or what's going on in Scotland, then I suggest you turn off the video right now. I have never been more concerned over the state of freedom of speech in Scotland than I am at this moment in time. I previously made a video about this exact man, this exact bill, this exact situation. The hate crime bill being pushed by the SNP's Humza Yousaf. If you ask me, this bill is one of the most atrocious things that we have ever seen be put on the table. It is one of the most atrocious, freedom-curbing bills that we have ever seen anyone try to push through Parliament. If you are unaware, in Scotland, we already have quite tight restrictions on speech. We don't have real freedom of speech. In fact, the UK as a whole doesn't have real freedom of speech, much like somewhere like America does. But Scotland specifically is even stricter than England is. There are cases all over the place, from years back and from present day, where people are being put in jail and are fined for things that they say in public and on the internet. You might have seen memes going around on Twitter where they're saying that the British police are too clouded, they've got not enough resources to go and investigate burglaries in people's homes. Yet meanwhile, if someone posts something offensive on Twitter, the sirens start blaring and they're there within the hour. Well folks, I'm very saddened to tell you that that meme is not too much of a stretch from the reality here in Scotland. I know everyone, including myself, always brings up this example, but let's take the Count Dankula situation. It's probably the most infamous example of this sort of thing. Count Dankula, Scottish YouTuber, he posts a video on his YouTube channel, specifically in the video saying it's a joke. This comedic video where he takes his girlfriend's dog, his girlfriend's pug, and he says, I really want to annoy my girlfriend, so I'm going to turn her dog into the worst thing I can possibly think of, a Nazi. And so he has the dog sitting watching a video of Hitler, and then he basically gets the dog anytime he says the words Sieg Heil to do a Nazi salute. The video may offend you. You may think the video is distasteful, and that is your right. You don't have to watch it. You have the right to criticize it. But this man, for this comedic video, was arrested. He was dragged from his home and put in a cell overnight. This man had his life essentially turned upside down. He now has a criminal record. He was fined. He has been slandered by the newspapers and the mainstream media. People all over Twitter despise the man, all because of this incident where his freedom of speech was curtailed. And I'm not saying you have to like him. I'm not saying you even have to sympathize with him. But the fact of the matter is, I wholeheartedly believe that it is wrong to put someone in jail for saying something offensive, especially if that thing was a joke. I think it is wrong not only to put them in jail, but to fine them, to punish them in any way is wrong. The only punishment people should ever face for the things they say should be social. It should be down to other human beings to decide, we don't like this person, we don't like what they're saying, let's ostracize them ourselves. I don't want to associate with someone who says those things. And okay, that's their choice. But the government should never step in and tell us what we can and cannot say. Now obviously, people are going to maybe take this out of context. No, I don't mean literally anything. I don't think it's right for people to be able to make death threats constantly, like credible death threats. I think that's wrong. I don't think people should just shout fire in a crowded movie theatre. I don't believe in those things. But that is where it ends. We are at a point now, folks, where there are people all over Twitter. I was horrified this morning, and that's what actually brought me to make this video. I didn't think I was going to make another video on this because I thought I had said all I could say about this subject. But I looked at Twitter this morning, and I was reading responses to a tweet that I think it was Humza Yousaf had quote tweeted someone, and basically they were criticizing this hate crime bill. If you're not aware of the hate crime bill, sorry, this video is a bit of a mess, I'm just rambling here, but this hate crime bill is basically Humza Yousaf has pushed forth legislation to basically curtail freedom of speech even more in Scotland under the guise of hate crimes. He says he's trying to stop hate. And by doing this, what would actually happen is one of the suggested pieces of this bill would be that it would actually be offensive to carry what are called inflammatory texts, inflammatory materials. There has been concern that this would include stuff such as a Bible. No joke. This hate crime bill, in its current form, could make it illegal to carry a Bible. And the reason for that is because the Bible has materials in it which could be considered hateful. Such as maybe there are anti-gay messaging in the Bible or anti-women messaging in the Bible. So it would now be illegal for you to possess that. This same section of the bill would also make it illegal for you to have offensive memes on your mobile device or your computer. If that does not frighten you, then I don't know what planet you're living on. People might say, oh, well, just don't have racist memes on your phone, on your computer. It's not that simple, folks. It is not that simple. What constitutes racism is changing all the time depending on whose eyes you're looking for. And who's to say it stops at racism? We're not talking about just racism or sexism. They're also talking about ageism. They're talking about all these other different protected characteristics they want to bring in on this bill. This is going to sound ridiculous, but it could be classed as offensive to have a meme on your phone that says "OK Boomer" on it. And you could be put in prison for that. The whole bill seeks to basically stop people from stirring up hatred. It's all about trying to tell people what their intent is. It's about telling people, oh, you're intending to stir up hatred with this comment you've made or this material you possess. And so you must now go to jail for that. Now, there has been some discussion about removing certain parts of this bill, and there have been some changes going through, and that's good. The bill has been lessening a little, or there have been suggestions to take certain parts, and I think that's good. However, it's not good enough. This entire bill needs to be completely scrapped. It is a mess. It is a joke. Humza Yousaf is a joke. It is very much clear to me at this point that these people just despise free speech. They despise freedoms. And just to get back to what I was saying before I started going on about the bill specifically, the reason I'm making this video is I was on Twitter this morning reading responses to an article written about the bill being critical of it. And the responses were filled of people saying, I guess you just support racism then. I guess you just support hate speech. I guess you just support hate. You're just a hateful person. You're just upset because if this bill goes through, then your supporters won't be able to support you by being so hateful all the time. Folks, in my life, I have never seen such a large group of people who claim to be fighting against hate be the ones who are actually hateful. The people arguing in favour of this bill are so hateful against the people who are criticising it. We hate you and you're a racist and you're hateful and you just love hate speech. That's the only reason you'd criticise this bill. Isn't that hate? Shouldn't that be stopped under this bill? I just find this entire thing to be so concerning and so frightening, especially the way that all these people are blindly supporting it. And to address these responses of, oh, I guess you just love hate speech. No, I don't just love hate speech. That's a ridiculous thing to say. What I love is free speech. I love freedom. I don't like the government. I don't like people telling me what I can and can't say. I don't like other people making up their minds about what my intent was with something I've said. And that if they don't like it, now suddenly I can be punished for that. I don't like that. Speech laws do not stop hate. All they do, at the very most, is make people shut up a little bit. Be a bit more quiet and selective with what they're saying in public. Oh, but wait! This bill would also seek to criminalise what you're saying in your own house. They want you to report family members who are sitting at the dinner table with you saying something that you deem to be offensive. Was your uncle sexist to your mother last night at dinner? Well, if you'll let us know, we'll come and arrest him and put him in jail for 7 years. What on earth is going on? And you know, I'm actually going to use a very good example here of a tweet I saw from Count Dankula the other day. And yeah, okay, love him or hate him, whatever. That's not the point here. The point is the argument. And here, Count Dankula posts this tweet saying, "My new favourite hobby is getting anti-fascists to admit that they actually like the government having fascist speech laws." And so if you look in here, you can see someone said, "Please show where our human rights give you the right to be a racist." And Count Dankula responds saying, "It's called Article 10 of the European Convention of Human Rights. But the most original point of free and democratic societies is that speech be free, lest it violates human rights. There is no such thing as a right to be not offended." This person then responds again saying, "There is no such right as the right to be racist scum." Count Dankula says, "Yes, there is. It is literally in the convention that I just said to you. It's not a good use of your right, but it is a right nonetheless. Supporting a person's right to say something is not the same as supporting what they say." We then get another response from this person saying, "You don't understand the law, do you? We don't have free speech in the UK, we have limited speech, racist and uneducated." Count Dankula then says, "Yes, that is absolutely the case. Yet, freedom of speech is a recognised human right, meaning the UK actively violates the human rights of its citizens, something I am against. Look at you learning something." And this person, like many others, clearly does not understand something here. We're not talking about what the UK laws are. We are talking about worldwide recognised human rights. And worldwide, freedom of speech is something we recognise as a human right. A human right. We're not talking about a law. We are talking about actual human rights. Okay? And by curtailing that, by changing that, by challenging it even slightly, the UK, or the Scottish government to be specific, are quite literally stamping on human rights, are quite literally limiting and taking advantage of our human rights. They're not changing the law. They are violating our human rights. Our human right to freedom of speech. And just to be clear, I don't think no reasonable person is going to need this clarification, but I'm going to give it anyway, just for the sake of it. No, I do not support racism. I do not support homophobia. I do not support sexism. I am none of those things. I don't like those things. I disavow those things. I disavow all of it. Politically, I am very much a centrist. I'm not some far-right political activist. I'm very much a centrist. And that is quite clear, I think, if you watch my other videos and you hear the things I have to say on other subjects. Freedom of speech is vital to any free and fair society. The fact that this hate crime bill has as much support that it actually has is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And I think the SNP and Humza Yousaf should be ashamed of themselves for ever even considering trying to pass such a disgrace of a bill. Anyway, folks, that was my very much opinionated rant for the year. I know I'm at the end of the year, but I don't go on these rants very often. I don't feel so strongly about certain things so often. Normally I like to just report what one side's saying and report what the other side's saying and just give you basically whatever the news is of whatever the situation is. But for this, it's something I truly do feel strongly about, and it's something that I can't just let it lie. I need to speak about it. I need to just get it off my chest, because it really does bother me that this bill may actually pass. It's bad enough that we already have strict speech laws here, and now these people want to make it even stricter. They want to make these laws even worse. And anytime someone criticizes them, it's said, "Oh, you're only criticizing it because you're far right and you just love hate speech." No, it has nothing to do with that. You're being absolutely ridiculous. What a fantastic straw man that is. Anyway, leave a like on this video if you liked it, dislike if you dislike it. Subscribe if you're new here, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you all in the next video.